Good evening, my beloved. For those who can make it, appreciate you big time. Thank you so much. Those who couldn't, it's my bad. My son told me how to do an announcement last week, and I did it, but I forgot. And he's real busy, so he couldn't show me again. Anyway, his hands are pretty full right now. Him and my daughter both, they're coming to the close of their semesters and, papers, grades, all that kind of stuff. So they got a lot going on. And he was going to try to be with me this evening, but that didn't quite work out. He had meetings, different things going on. He's got a lot going on. A lot going on. My goodness. I'm so excited for him. In any case, what I wanted to kind of present tonight, throw out, is this: how to live a kingdom life today and tomorrow. Now, I'm not going to talk a long time. I've kind of made a deal with myself that I don't want to go over like 15 minutes or so, because I just want to stimulate some conversation, some thought, and maybe those conversations will go beyond our time together here. And again, if you want to chime in, send me a note, whatever, please feel free to do so, and I will try and respond. So, to get to the point, last week we talked about dealing with challenge. And the reason I wanted to start with that was because there is a misconception going around that life is not supposed to be a challenge, when in reality, everything about life, about living, is a challenge. Everything is a challenge in every way you can imagine, because challenge is always centered around change, and change is what we're working with, because change is constant. Change never stops. Ready or not, things will change. If you don't accept that, know that, and have some confidence about that, then that's when challenges become a problem that can be insurmountable. But really, it's really about just accepting the reality of situations and making decisions about, how you want to handle them. So, living a kingdom life. All right. To those in the church, a lot of times we assume, that church business, church activities are, our calling, and that is just not true. Those are the things that we do to kind of occupy our time between birth and death. But the charge that we have from the scriptures is to live an intentional life, to live a life based upon a future we cannot absolutely confirm, but we have strong conviction or strong belief that there's good reason to have hope and to work toward that hope, not just to sit back and wait on it. One of the things that happens, and I've heard it said so many times in so many churches, Lord got this, Lord can handle it, which is true. That's true. I don't deny that. I don't question that. But I do question the assumption that if that's the case, there's nothing that we need to do to contribute. And so way too many people are kind of sitting in pews. And it's just not good. It's not good for any reason, for anybody, in any way, especially for us in the circumstances that is ours here in America. To be Black in America is not what it used to be, but it still ain't what it could be. or it actually wasn't even legal. But anyway, I just want to throw some ideas out. You can comment back, tell me what you think. I want to kind of follow somewhat of the same outline as last time, because to live a kingdom life today is about choices. Good friend Archie Smart, he's going to be on here one day after he gets out of school. Yeah, he's done wonderful biblical interpretive work, to identify what's pretty plain, but we may not appreciate the depth of it, is that everybody has the power of life and death in a choice. Either ours or someone else's. We have that power. Everybody does, all the time, 24/7. So, with that in mind, I would like to just say that to live a kingdom life is to be intentional about what it is you will and will not make a part of your life. So the first point is assess the challenge as stated last week. Determine, figure it out, lay it out on the table, figure out what are the components, what are the pieces, what makes this up, and then set a goal though. Once you've done some assessing, once you begin to determine, what it is you're working with, kingdom life really is about living a life of faith. Faith means that I believe in the goodness of God and life until I don't. It doesn't have anything to do with circumstances. It has everything to do with my decision. So first decide, not decide, but set a goal. As you are making your assessment about whatever the challenge might be, set some goals about what you would prefer other than, the current situation. What is it you want, really? And be honest. Like I said before, you have to be honest with yourself. Please be honest with yourself. Prayer means nothing if you're trying to have a conversation with God and you're lying. It's a waste of time. Set a goal though. Whatever the situation is, set a goal. I've currently, I guess because I'm retired, I like to do jigsaw puzzles now. And that practice, is kind of speaking to me right now, in that when we're doing an assessment, it's like the beginning of a puzzle. You got to first, appreciate what the overall big picture is. And then the very key part is frame it. Frame it. If you get the frame together, the rest will be much simpler to do. So assess, set a goal, which is set the framework, or take a very good hard look at what the big picture is. What is it that you're trying to do? And then, if once you've done that, then you want to decide what pieces of the puzzle to place on the table. That may or may not be a good analogy, but it feels good to me. Pieces fit together and pieces don't. Some pieces you can find easily, some you can't. So you gotta figure some things out and decide, what aspect of the puzzle you want to tackle, which right now is whatever it is that you might be struggling with, or someone else might be struggling. Once you've assessed, once you kind of brought together an idea of what this problem consists of, and then you begin to decide what pieces of this thing can be addressed and what can't. Like if you don't want to get up at sunrise, you can't stop the sun, so you got to do something else. But that's a very important piece. And right now, there are some opportunities that have been presented to my son that, in my mind anyway, carry a lot of potential for positive impact in the educational environment as well as in the culture. So there's a lot to pray about. And actually, this is the process we're going through right now, or at least my son is. He has to make the decision. I don't. But I do have some contributing thoughts about whatever it is he decides. And it's just exciting. So at this point, we're trying to figure out what pieces of the puzzle can we place on the table. And then what does that tell us? What does it leave us with? I know when I do a puzzle, I want to do the frame first. And then I want to begin to figure out, which pieces to place that help fulfill the picture, satisfy the puzzle. Then all these things come to a place where you got to decide something else. I had a friend in Brooklyn. There was a guy named Zaid. He was a Muslim, but he was my friend. He was a good friend. He's a dope fiend, but he was my friend. He lived next door. And Zaid, he used to project himself as a thief. He would be the one running around in the street trying to sell you watches. And they would have names on them like Boulevard, Timex, whatever. And they would look like the real Boulevards and Timexes. But actually they were all made in Taiwan. They weren't real. He bought them. There was a particular area in Lower Manhattan where you can go and buy all kinds of things in bulk. And then you go around telling people that giving people the impression that you stole it. And that's why you can give them such a great price. But in reality, it costs nothing to begin with. Whatever you get is going to pay for it. So the police arrested him or tried to. They couldn't because he got receipts. You know what I'm saying? In any case. But he used to always say this thing: running up the flagpole, you can see these students. I've always found that a very useful thing. If you got an idea, and at this point, you're trying to pull your puzzle together. You can't finish it all at once. You gotta stop and assess. When I say running up the flagpole, what I'm really talking about is you have to do something. If you're unsure what to do, pick out a few people that you think are reasonable, sensible, pretty solid in their thinking, and you just share an idea. Just share the idea, see what they say. And whatever they point out, if it's something you've already considered, praise God. You're not alone. If it's something you haven't, then you've become informed. And that can help as far as completing, whatever the project is. Because most things you really can't, if they're kind of big, you can't complete them all of a sudden. But you might also find that once you run it up the flagpole, in other words, you share the idea with somebody, and you're kind of sharing your ambition towards the big picture, even though you're still dealing with small pieces, that make it up. And that has to do with the fact that sometimes you can get a lot of help for things if you share the idea. And somebody might recognize it. Oh, yeah, I know who's doing that, or I've done that, or I know where you can get some help to do that, something, because you can't do things alone. It's a mistake, and especially in the church, to not be aggressive about collaborating and making sure that community is thriving, is thinking, is breathing, it's taking in, it's exhaling. The church is too stale, it's too stagnant, it sits, does the same thing year after year. And none of those things really address the ultimate goal, other than, paying bills, etc. But we're really called as people, I don't even want to give it a title, We're called as people to live intentional lives of faith, which means you're living towards something that is not yet. And most of our lives, that's really what drives us from day to day. If you have a Christmas club account for, and you're saving money for the following Christmas, that's faith. Faith in the institution that they won't steal your money. Faith that you'll continue to make money, at least at the current level. Faith that things won't happen to just completely frustrate everything about your ambitions. Faith that Christmas is coming. And when Christmas arrives, you will be able to use that money to make somebody smile. Faith means that you're running after tomorrow. So how you live today is going to affect tomorrow. So live today so that tomorrow can be the same. A day of faith, a day of conviction, a day of, ambition toward satisfying whatever it is the Lord's put on your mind and heart. But most importantly, everything we do ought to contribute to the community, not just the church. It ought to contribute to the community. And when I say community, I don't mean the community you live in. I mean the world. And that is not a crazy idea, because we can impact the world from right where we are. It's all a matter of perspective and belief. Because if you believe, a lot of things can happen. And I'm going to sign off right now, because I'm currently in the middle of 2 great projects going on that are potentially will have a great impact. Not many people may know the part played, especially by me, but I don't know. And God will know. Beloved, God bless you. We love you. And live your life. Ciao. Till next week. And I will do an announcement next time. Bye.